The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
Now listen to me, Caesar. There can be only one talking chimpanzee on Earth. The child of the two talking apes.
20 years back from the year, Senor Mando, when the two talking apes arrived on Earth.
And we believe that the male and female talking apes have come to us out of the future.
A month before the talking apes arrived on Earth.
From now on, you have but one assignment: to find that talking ape.
He's a performing ape for my circus.
A talking ape?
That idiot!
This chimpanzee...
Get out of retraction immediately. Announce that the talking ape has been apprehended and put to death.
Hello to all you chimps, gorillas, orangutans, underdwellers, Tim Burton fans, and even you damn dirty humanoids. Well, I said we'd be back soon, and here we are. The wait hasn't been as long as it's been in the past, and with all this new ape stuff coming up, we'll be able to get more episodes out that more regularly. I am Richard Woloski, and now I want to welcome everyone back to Talking Apes. This is your Planet of the Apes podcast, where over the past 9 years, we have focused on the classic Apes era. We've broken down the live action and animated series, talked with authors, actors, and the fan community. Now, everyone, please rise and say hello to my co-host, Mr. Kevin Toft. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Richard. Glad to be back. No more monkeying around. We're talking apes.
That's very true. That should be our new slogan. No more monkeying around. We're talking apes. No, I'm serious. That's where's my pen?
Yeah, write that down. Here, I'll write it on my forehead. No.
Well, it feels good to be back. The one area, Kevin, we've never explored on Talking Apes is the comics. Did you ever read the comics when you were a kid? The Apes comics?
I didn't. I did not. I any chance I could watch one of the movies or, of course, the TV show. Right. I'm more visual. I would draw them. I would eat things off of my Planet of the Apes plate and out of my Planet of the Apes cup. Very tangible stuff like that. But artwork, yeah, I would have been attracted to it by the artwork, but I just wasn't collecting comic books at that time. In fact, I never did get a very deep comic book collection, but I find it intriguing that they did it. I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, and oddly enough, no one has ever brought up the Apes comics. None of the listeners, none of the apes out there, no one's ever made a mention of the comics. So, having never been a Apes comic fan myself growing up, this just went under the radar. Never came up. But now with all this new stuff coming up, it's like, oh, Kevin, we need to focus on the Apes comics. And there's such a vast history of the Apes comics. It was a black and white magazine format comic that ran for 29 issues from 1974 until 1977. And guess what I did? I pulled out some of my old issues.
My, oh my.
I had these when I was a kid, but I never read them. Never.
Wow, so you grabbed them and did you sleeve them and protect them then, or did you just...
You know what? I have a friend who had a collection of the Apes comics and sent me theirs. So I think 2 of these is from when I was a kid, and 2 of them came from our friends, the Chickafants, who was doing a whole clean out and said, hey, we have some ape comics. Do you want them? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
please send them over. So
That's
this
so cool.
This series ran from 1974 until 1977, and I have a feeling a lot of stuff stopped in 1977 because how do you compete with Star Wars?
Yes, apes, it's all terrestrial, right? On a planet. They think they don't know that they're on Earth, but it's on Earth. And I think other than the beginning of the movie, there's that one spaceship scene, and the rest of it is all talking
humans.
Talking humans, talking apes.
Now
right?
Yeah, exactly. And who wants to hear talking humans? Come on.
Right.
Now, this series adapted all the Apes films and featured original stories and behind-the-scenes articles of the Ape films and the live action series. And this has not been released by Marvel. Not just yet. It hasn't been reprinted, and so we can enjoy them now. But
Wow.
You know what? The day is young, so
Right.
you
Right.
never know. So ape fans, we thought it'd be fun to focus this episode and episodes to come on the Apes comics. And once again, this is an area I had very little knowledge of until now, thanks to the new original Marvel comics that have started to come out this past April, and the Planet of the Apes Adventures, the original Marvel Years Omnibus. Oh, I grabbed that right up. And this is a collection of the 11-issue series Adventures on the Planet of the Apes, which ran from 1975 until 1976, that adapted Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Wait, what month was that? Did you say April?
How did I miss that? Oh my goodness. I'm so ashamed of myself.
Go April.
You know what?
We should make that a thing on our show. Ape month.
Oh my goodness. Okay. In 2024,
Yep. Look
April
for
will be Ape month.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay. We'll plan some stuff for next year, guys. Maybe some costumes, maybe some reenactments.
And maybe 4 episodes in the month.
Make some
weekly
banana bread
Talking
recipes,
Apes.
you know, whatever.
We have what, 10 more months to plan this.
That's a great idea.
All right, now let's get back to this, because there's so much to talk about in the past Apes comics. The first issue of the adaptation was originally printed in black and white in Planet of the Apes magazine #1. I'm ashamed to admit I don't have this issue.
It's out there.
Now, the omnibus, which came out at the end of last April, features all 11 color issues reprinted for the first time ever. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Wait, that's out now?
That's out now, yes. The omnibus just came out this last April 2023. And wow, I could not wait to get this.
Well.
Kevin, going back just a few years, did you ever read the Apes comics from Boom Studios?
I wasn't doing any comics at that time.
Okay. Well, you know what? Neither did I, and I'm once again I gotta start my ape comic collection like now, going back to the 1970s up to present day. Now, Boom Comics, they had the license from 2011 until 2019, where they released 4 series plus a number of one-shots, and they were all very successful. But now that Fox is owned by Disney, it makes sense that Disney wants the license back to give to Marvel, because Marvel is also owned by Disney. It makes sense. The same thing happened when Disney bought Star Wars. When Dark Horse Comics license ended, well, Disney took back that license to give to Marvel, so Marvel could continue their Star Wars comics. It's a business decision. It makes sense to me. Now,
I like it.
Now, have you seen these crossovers? I love me some crossovers, and Boom Comics did a lot of crossovers. They did Apes and Tarzan. They did Apes and the Green.
Is that really a
Green
crossover?
Lantern? Yeah. Now the Apes and the Green Lantern comic, they said in the comic talking apes. They mentioned
They mentioned us?
Unfortunately, not.
They mentioned us?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, they
that.
did. I know. Thank you to Boom Comics. That didn't really happen. Also, there was a King Kong in Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Now, and I know this one's got you written all over it. They published a crossover with Star Trek titled Star Trek Planet of the Apes, The Primate Directive. And this series came out in December 2014 and went to April 2015.
Richard, literally the only way to get Sarah interested would be that Star Trek crossover, right?
Oh, Kevin, I'm ashamed. I haven't thought of any of this. Oh my goodness. I should give this to Sarah and say, hey, look, Sarah, it's a Star Trek comic. And she'll read it and like, wait a minute, there's Planet of the Apes in here. Wait a minute. I want to be on Talking Apes now.
See? We could maybe have a guest episode where we review that and she judges the Trekkiness crossover part of it. Like she'd be the expert on the Trek. And we're the expert on the apes part. And we talk about how they blended.
Okay, so after we finish these 6 issues of the adaptation of Planet of the Apes, we'll go into that series
That
right
could be an
there.
episode.
Yes, just no one tell Sarah, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Shh,
Shh.
between us for right now.
Don't tell
All
her.
right, now, Kevin, if Marvel Comics came over to you and said, "Hey, Kevin, we want a new crossover, a new Planet of the Apes crossover," what would you want the apes to cross over with? It could be
Hmm.
a Disney-owned property. It could not be a
Oh,
Disney-owned
Tron.
property.
Digital apes.
Oh no. Okay, digital apes. You know
Or,
what? I'm all in favor for digital apes.
actually, no. Okay. All seriousness, what would be, I think would be awesome, and I'm a huge fan of it because of all the artwork, would be a Planet of the Apes Johnny Quest. Would be so cool. I used to love that show. I love the artwork. In fact, some of the poses in some of these, there's whoever this artist was, I'm not sure what the in the omnibus, whatever. It's probably maybe a few artists, or maybe it's just one, but there's some strong poses in there, some really well drawn, some poses that kind of reminded me of Johnny Quest. And the reason that show was successful is because that was from a very famous artist, illustrator, and that whole opening sequence, super strong poses, very comic book looking, perfect crossover.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Of course, my number one answer would be Star Wars, Planet of the Apes and Star Wars,
Wouldn't that be something?
or I want Planet of the Apes to cross over with Planet of the Apes. All right,
Wait, what?
you get
Say that again.
the vintage era apes with the new digital Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
Oh,
that would
that
be interesting, right? Because in the more, let's just take the 68 one. They're all more walking human like, but the newer ones with Caesar and stuff like that, they're really, their bodies aren't as evolved. Their minds are, right. They
right.
took the potion that they got from the doctor, and they all got smart, but their bodies haven't gone through the evolution that they did in the 68 Planet of the Apes and all those, the ones where they're more
Yeah.
walking upright. So yes, that would be very interesting.
Oh my goodness, I would love to. Why they don't do this in there wasn't a book. Where is it? Oh, it's. Oh, hold on one second.
All right.
All right, gotta reach over here, my bookshelf. In this Planet of the Apes Tales from the Forbidden Zone, they did cross over some characters with the return of the Planet of the Apes characters and storylines.
Hmm.
And I love that. I
Sure.
absolutely love that. And I'm hoping that at some point, well, you know what, with this new AI technology, this can now be a thing. For better or for worse,
Yes.
AI technology is taking over and can recreate. You put in all of the vintage ape films and the TV series into the
Mm-hmm.
computer, it'll spit you out a brand new Planet of the Apes film. And I don't have any issue with that whatsoever.
That's using it for good.
Yes, yes. Then you combine that with the Andy Serkis new digital Planet of the Apes. Oh,
Right.
you got a winning combination there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm getting too excited about that, but we gotta move on, Kevin. We gotta move on.
Moving on.
Now, on Skywalking Through Neverland, we have a blast breaking down the classic Marvel Star Wars comics. So I thought it'd be fun to go through this new omnibus with the Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes adaptations and do our own commentary. Now, the first film has an adaptation of 6 issues, whereas Beneath the Planet of the Apes only has 5 issues because the world blows up in the end. Oh, spoiler alert! So why do you need a 6th issue? Why?
Right.
All right, Kevin. With that, let's get into the sense-shattering first issue. So, Kevin, let's go over this cover art. Okay, and it reads, "Beginning now, Mighty Marvel's action-packed adaptation of Planet of the Apes." So we put this out on our Facebook group and ask the apes out there to weigh in on the cover art here. But first, Kevin, give me your reaction to this cover art.
I like it. I like the poses. I like the drawings. I like the shading. And you know what? Okay. On other shows on the network, the Star Wars Marvel comic, we've commented in the past that the colors get a little zany sometimes. They put, but if looking at this cover, all these colors sort of make sense, right? So, and then, but also look at the action. It almost looks like a battle, but to me, maybe this is the hunt. But I really like the way it's drawn. I love the colors. The red pulls you in. The yellow is a great contrast. That pose of that horse just draws you right in the center, and then that guy down front shooting almost over your right shoulder. This is great. This is exciting. This is why you pick up a comic book.
Look where all the lines are pointing with the horse head and the rifle blast all comes down to that one ape in the center of the page.
Motion lines.
And and even all the lines to the sides are all pointing in to that one centralized ape. And as a kid, this would have driven me crazy because I could not buy this issue fast enough. This is just, there's so much action going on. And look at all those apes. And it's no wonder to me why they don't put humans on this, because for a comic for kids where you see humans getting trampled and pulverized by apes.
Called Planet of the Apes, right? You want to see apes right out of the start.
And as a kid, I didn't care about the humans. I just want to see some apes.
It was about the gorillas for me, just saying, when I was growing up.
Oh, me too. So yeah, I love this issue, and at any age, this excites me. Now, Patrick Izzo, he weighed in, and he said, the weapons depicted are what jumps out at me. The blast coming out of the rifles reminds me of how the G.I. Joe animated series rifles were animated. What's most interesting is that in the film, the apes primarily had rifles, but all the way on the left of the cover looks like there's an ape holding a machine gun of some sort, which never appeared in any of the movies that I can recall. Yes, Patrick, you're right. There was never a machine gun in Planet of the Apes.
I'd give it a carbine without a stock. I don't know about machine gun, but maybe. I don't know.
Well, the rifles in the movies, in the TV show, they're all like made out of wood and a little bit of metal. But these are more modernized guns.
They're exciting. Yeah. They did the right thing. Good choice, whoever did that.
And I know back in 1974, they weren't thinking, you know what? Some podcast in 2023 is going to pick this apart, so we better draw these very accurately. All right, now from David Braun, the Talking Apes Facebook group admin, he says, yay, excellent topic. I can clearly remember walking to the neighborhood 7-Eleven in 1974 and feasting my eyes on the iconic cover of Planet of the Apes #1. I was, and still am, a fan of the black and white Curtis magazines. Oh, Curtis, man, what is this? I still have that issue I purchased all those years ago, and also have 2 sets of the complete 29-issue run. Whoa, David, we gotta talk.
Send pictures.
Yeah. Okay, he continues. I had always hoped that one day we get to see a film version of the Jason and Alexander series, which filled out the second half of the magazine after the movie adaptations. David, you're talking a language I don't understand. I gotta look into this. George Tuska and Mike Plug rank very highly of my favorite Marvel artists. I cannot wait to hear your take on these awesome comic books. Go Ape. All right. Now, Brian Brady says, I was already buying the magazine, but I was hungry for anything apes, so seeing this gorilla force bursting forth on this colorful cover was the highlight of the comic book stand that month, and that's saying a lot from an amazing Spider-Man and Captain America fan of the day. Yet, another thrill in my Planet of the Apes obsessed life in 1975. I still get a rush seeing this cover. Oh, nice. Nostalgia. It's what we love. All right. Anthony Palmas, he says, great to have Talking Apes back. Well, thank you, Anthony. My first reaction to the cover of this issue is, wow, pretty darn nasty rifle shooting apes, and their horses even seem to have copped an attitude. I see no humans. Oh, that's exactly what I said. So perhaps the idea is that we are Taylor and Company. Oh, that's a very good point of view. Yeah. Also, I am very fully convinced that one of these leather-wearing apes is named Jason. You know what? We're gonna start rolling in the apes from the TV series into the comics. You know what? If we gotta name them ourselves, we will.
Sure.
Keep it going, my groovy simian comrades.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like that.
All right, so from here on in, we're gonna start naming these apes ourselves. All right, let's read a few more here. Rex Gordon says, "I'm okay with the apes, even the one that bedazzled his headgear. I don't like that yellow horse though."
The golden horse.
Okay, so he's talking about the ape in the foreground with the bedazzled headgear that is staying on his head. That helmet is staying on his head. How, we don't know. Well, this helmet here he's wearing is not too top
It's
heavy.
riveted.
Yeah. All right. Let's end with one more from our good friend Jeremy Stevenson. I can't give any particular reason why, but this whole cover makes me want to pick up and look at this comic. Oh, yeah, look at those colors. They just pop right out.
Yeah.
I've seen the first movie maybe twice in my life. Twice? Okay, we'll fix that. I'm so ready for a rewatch of it, and I'm looking forward to hearing this show too. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much. We will make it as entertaining as possible. All right, Kevin, with that, let's get into this issue of Adventures on the Planet of the Apes, issue 1 of the 6th issue adaptation. We open up on the Icarus flying through space, and the narration reads, "Stars glitter like floating gems against the black velvet backdrop of space." I think they nailed that. This would make a great black velvet painting you'd win at a carnival.
Oh yeah, this would be great. And again, they really made it exciting. They lead the eye across with the drawings themselves, and they pick all the colors. And if you remember in the opening of the movie, it starts with the kind of ethereal space stuff going on outside the window. You see all kinds of stars and interesting things. And darn if they haven't caught it here. If they haven't brought it in, and is it one-to-one? No. Does it capture the mood? You betcha. This captures that opening of the film for sure, but reimagined.
Yeah.
How fun.
If you would ask me what year this was drawn, it's like, yeah, it's very, very 70s. With all those just trippy moons in the back and stars and this white blobby thing that backs the Icarus. You see that a lot in the Star Wars comics.
Yeah, but it, like I said, it all looks good, and it looks enough like the Icarus that I'm not getting upset, because that's the thing that upset me about Star Wars. I'm like going, those aren't the proportions of a TIE fighter, and that's not how you draw a Star Destroyer. And
oh, don't get me started on that one.
yeah, but this, somebody cared. Somebody put some care into this. You can see.
Oh, very much so. Oh, yeah. All right, now, inside the Icarus, we see Taylor, and he's sitting at a console saying that within the hour, they shall complete the 6th month of their flight. All right, now go to the next page there, Kevin, and let's look at Taylor here. Look at Taylor up in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston?
Yeah,
Where?
It looks very comic book hero. That could be any comic book hero at that. It doesn't, they didn't try to capture a likeness. It's like hero guy.
Now, Charlton Heston did not want his image on too many of the Topps cards. I think he said, like, you can put me on 6 of the whole series. That's it. You only get 6. So I'm wondering if he had weighed in on this, like, hey, yeah, I'm a serious actor. I don't want to be drawn in a kid's comic book. Or did they just have to get these comics out and let's just draw Captain America's face and give him some darker hair?
I'll tell you what concerns me about this page is if I'm traveling at the speed of light through deep space, I don't want to see any analog gauges in my cockpit. That would give me great stress.
And there they are right there. So, Kevin, look away. All right, then Taylor says that while old Mother Earth has aged a few hundred years, at this point, they have hardly aged at all. Later on, he says that they've been gone for 18 months, but by their time, it's 2,000 years later. 2,000 years, give or take a decade. So he's laying out how much time they've been gone, and I really like that. Now, in the film, Taylor harps on how much civilization has let him down, and that's why he wanted to separate himself. So that's why he wanted to get away from Earth. Here he just alludes to it by saying, and those who will receive this message are out of a different breed, hopefully a better one. Can you
Right.
imagine hearing that? Imagine hearing that message. Go, oh, dude, yeah, you stay in space, okay? We don't want that attitude down here. And this guy invented Twitter. I bet he did. I bet he would have.
Space tweets.
Yeah, yeah. Come on. Yeah. The more I watched Planet of the Apes, the more I hated Taylor. And reading this comic, I don't like him anymore.
Mm,
All right.
or Taylor.
I know.
We don't know anything about Stewart, though.
And you won't.
Right.
All right. Then Taylor says, "Pleasant dreams, Dodge, Landon, and of course Stewart." A little foreshadowing there, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he pointing out Stewart? Does he know something?
Well, she's special, right? Because she
Yeah.
was the female
Yes.
representative on the crew.
Now, suddenly, a few panels later, the Icarus dive bombs into the ocean. Everyone wakes up, but Kevin, guess who does not wake up?
Mm-hmm.
And Taylor says it right there. That settles it. 3 Adams and no Eve. Yeah, poor Stewart. You know what, Kevin? Let's give a moment of silence for Stewart.
Amazing. The hair. Look at Stewart's hair. It's amazing. Almost looks a little like Ghost Rider. But
Yeah, flaming blonde. The skull looks very upset. But then again, wouldn't you be upset if you had to fly with Taylor?
I would bet that Stewart would be over the moon that her hair looks fabulous.
All right.
In death.
So Dodge cuts in with, "That's a hell of a thing to say." I'm with Dodge on this one. Taylor,
Yeah.
really,
Yep.
really, 3 Adams and no Eve. That's the best you could do. You couldn't say, "Oh, let's give a moment of." We gave a moment of silence for Stewart. Why couldn't he? Yeah, one more strike against Taylor, okay? Someone get a counter.
They're stacking up here.
Now suddenly they realize the ship is sinking and everyone escapes on a life raft. Here we go, going. Kevin, call it.
Gone.
Now Landon, look at Landon right here. He looks more like my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Height, with his gray hair and glasses. And he sees a bright red glow in the sky and thinks it could be Bellatrix. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, are they doing a Harry Potter crossover here? Oh my goodness, this is great. They are so forward thinking. And then I had to look up Bellatrix, and according to Wikipedia, Bellatrix is the 3rd brightest star in the constellation of Orion. Kevin, did you know that?
I did not. I pretty much was able to guess that it was that it was some sort of celestial body or something out there that we know in the universe.
And not a Slytherin witch?
It crossed my mind, but because I know we're dealing with space flight, I was able to leap over that and stay right in with the Planet of the Apes crew here.
All right, now they are very confused as to where they are, but then Taylor adds, the question is not where are we, but when are we? Now, that would be on his mind since he was looking at the clocks before he took this long sleep. Because he was looking at the clocks and doing all this math in his head, so that's the first thing he's thinking. When are we? When do those clocks stop? What century, what millennia are we? Now, Landon can't wrap his head around how many centuries or millennia have passed, but when Taylor the jerk, he says, "You can't accept that time has wiped out everyone and everything you ever cared for. Turn them into dust." Turn them into dust. Why would he say that? All right, that's another strike against you, Taylor. What's that, a whole handful now? Why? Why would he? What a jerk. Come on.
He didn't get sensitivity training in his astronaut training.
Oh, apparently not. Now, Taylor seems to want to beat Landon down just because he doesn't want to accept their whole new lot in life. Now, would you? I wouldn't want to accept that either.
Give him some time to adjust.
Now, as they travel across the wastelands, Landon plants a tiny American flag in the ground like he does in the film, and Taylor lets out this demonic laugh.
The iconic laugh now.
Kevin, go ahead and give us your rendition of Taylor's iconic laugh. go through a few more panels where Taylor is still riding Landon and reminding him that they are 300 light years from his precious little Earth and that everyone he has ever loved has been dead or forgotten for 20 centuries. Taylor, shut up. Ditch this guy. You don't need him.
And look what he's done to him in this last frame here. He says, I'm prepared to die. He's wearing him down.
Yeah, he's wearing Landon down. Oh. And
as keeps going. Get off my back, Taylor. It's like...
And as they're getting into it, Dodge, he calls them over to see this tiny little plant that he found.
Which is right here.
There
Life.
Now, the one thing they didn't find, Kevin, are those big, scary scarecrows, like
You're
you
right.
see in the film.
They jumped right over that. And it looks like they found a Joshua tree here, if you look at that thing.
Yeah, they did. Those, I don't know why, but those scarecrows, those scarecrows,
scared me.
I don't know why, but they really scared me. I think because they were up on the cliffs looking down. You didn't know what they were. It was almost like like the Blair Witch had seen those scarecrows and thought, okay, those scared me as a kid too. I'm gonna put those in my film.
After you get over it, you're like, what is that? You want some explanation. It sucked me in and kept me driving into the story more. So it's odd that they chose to not represent it here.
Yeah, very, very odd.
But we did get the lightning.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, beautifully drawn.
And then
next morning,
ready?
Next morning, they find the lake and go skinny dipping. Kevin, cover your eyes, okay?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And Landon sees a footprint and discovers that all their clothes are being stolen. And now it plays out like an Austin Power film where carefully drawn branches and shadows cover certain parts of the anatomy to keep this from becoming an R-rated comic.
And also some of these Jack Kirby-like poses and a lot of black ink are hiding crucial parts of the anatomy, keeping it friendly for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You get the idea, but boy, did they used a lot of the flesh colors in this scene, but that all goes away.
Oh, very, very soon.
Within a few panels here, just a little. This is kind of getting their head around what's going on, trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah. So they follow the humans back to their camp, and Taylor, he points out that one of them is gorgeous.
Nova. Right. Well, Taylor's got an agenda.
He's in the moment here. All right. One less strike for Taylor, I guess, because he's noticing Nova over there. But we don't know that it's Nova. But yeah, that's Nova.
Yeah.
Landon has been hanging around Taylor way too long and says, "But they're stupid. Look at them. They're stupid. They're all stupid like animals. We got off at the wrong stop." All right.
Planet of the Judgment.
Yeah. Now Taylor comes back with, "Look at the bright side, Landon. If this is the best there is, in 6 months, we'll be running this planet."
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another strike against him. This is not your planet. This is not your community. You're already thinking about running the place.
Sure. All of a sudden, is Ich bin einer Ape, right? He wants to, he's going to take over. No fun.
I appreciate him being the alpha, but come on, move along. Find your own community and find your own Nova.
Coexist. Here we go.
All right. Suddenly, Kevin, the humans sense something and race off. Dodge says that rumble. It's like hoofbeats, horses, galloping. With that, we see our first glimpse of the planet of the apes. All right, Kevin.
And that mountain was kind enough to let us know what's going on.
Wait a minute, you're right. That Close Encounters mountain in the background is speaking.
Devil's
apes,
Tower.
Apes on horseback, says the mountain. All right, Kevin, break down this panel we're looking at here.
First off, when I first saw it, I didn't understand what the golden horse was. I thought it was some gold knight. I mean, because really the first thing you see when you hit this page is this central part of the horse's head, neck, and you're like, wow. I mean, it's striking. And then you realize, oh, this is the human hunting scene. Takes a second but it is very well drawn. But now we're getting into like crazy colors now, because we've got a red-nosed horse in the foreground, golden horse, and blue horse. Now, I guess if they were all brown horses, they would blend in.
Right.
So what do? You go for red, gold, and blue horses, and then of course, did the saddle have to be purple? You could have made his outfit. No, he's going to be red pants and gold top. Here we go, folks. Crazy colors coming at you, but there's excitement happening, right? So kind of like the cover, use the exciting colors, right? Because if you look back, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Everything's kind of in the right color here. Everything's earth tones. We're kind of where we should be, right? But then you get here, and I think they went back to the cover and they said, all right, let's bring those exciting colors in from the cover, and blammo, look at that.
And this is where they show the whole turn of the story, because we see all those new vibrant colors we haven't really seen in the past. So okay, a 180 flip of the story here. Wow, this is exciting. I don't know why, but I'm not crazy about the yellow tunic.
Well, if you look at the cover, they had everybody colored right, but here they decided liberties. We'll take liberties.
Yeah, just going that far off from the actual color, it throws me a little bit. I can see why they're doing it, because they want to bring your attention to the center of the frame of that panel with the golden horse and the yellow tunicked ape. I love it. Okay, now I love it. Now I love it. So here we see the apes. They're charging from the forest and begin firing, and the three astronauts are shocked to see apes on horseback and firing rifles. And Landon tries to make a break for it, and he's kicked by a horse. Dodge is then shot in the back and killed.
Yeah, we see him get shot, and at one point in the movie, Taylor comes over to him and flips him over to check, and then he runs off. He's not next to Dodge when it happens. He's kind of in the area, and then runs up to him and flows him over. But when he gets hit, he does this kind of thing. He like reaches for his neck and falls over on his face, and then Taylor comes out of the plants and runs up to him, flips him over to check him. So I think what they're doing, they're condensing it here.
This is kind of vicious for a kid's comic, because here you see Dodge getting trampled by the horse and Landon getting shot right in the back.
All on one page.
Yeah, this is. Was there a comics code back then? Oh, right in the cover of this issue, there's a comics code. You gotta wonder how loose was this comics code back in 1974.
Well, I mean, I guess it's showing some violence, but it's not all violence, right? Maybe it's an amount.
Yeah. I'm surprised they just didn't kind of like allude to it. Maybe showing Taylor or Dodge going, "Oh no, Landon's been trampled by a horse," instead of showing it. Yeah, that's just that's a little. Just looking at it now, it's kind of gruesome. So let's move on.
We'll move on.
All right, now Taylor stands his ground, because he's an alpha, and he says, "This is crazy. I won't run anymore. It's lunacy. Humans hunted by apes." And with that, he's shot in the neck.
That'll teach you.
What did we learn, Taylor? What did we learn?
Well,
we see apes riding horses and firing guns. You leave and ask questions later.
There you go. You don't stand up to them and say, try to shame them out of their.
And then one of the gorillas, they say, for a moment there, I almost thought I heard one of the humans speak, but of course, that's absurd.
That's crazy.
That's just nutty. And Kevin, with that, this is where we're going to wrap up the first issue of the Planet of the Apes adaptation. Coming next, the City of the Apes.
Yes.
All right, so Kevin, what are your afterthoughts now?
Again, I'm fine with the edits they made. If I was reading this, then this all makes sense. I'm fine. You know what I mean? And I like the artwork. I'm in. I like the movie, so I like the comic book. It's not like I was telling you the other day about Jurassic Park. I made the mistake of reading the book before seeing the movie, and then got into the movie theater and went, "Hey, what's going on here?" If I like this movie as much that the fan that I am, I don't want to pick up a comic book and have people going, "We're just gonna take a little from here and a little from there. Rest of it, we're just going to make up." No, to me, that's how I want it. That's, as a fan, that's what I want. That's what I enjoy. And I like the little changes they made. It makes sense because you're converting to another medium, right? And so you have to make certain little changes, but nothing that derails it, nothing that takes me out of the moment, nothing that spoils it or makes me, gets me so distracted and I'm no longer paying attention. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay. I did too. I did too because I realize now I really, really, really don't like Taylor. And I know that's the whole purpose of his character, just to show the different side and really to focus on the apes' point of view because they do have a very valid sense of opinion
Mm,
of humans are evil because have you been on social media? Humans can be evil. So
yes.
I think the apes pretty much nailed us right there. And I really like the whole flip of the humans, which we're supposed to really take the point of view from. Well, they're the evil ones, and the movie and the comic keeps pointing that out to us again and again and again by Taylor's attitude. Now, with the comic, there's a lot of exposition in this issue. The majority of this information is how much, well, of a jerk Taylor is, and they spend a lot of time setting that up. And I'm sure Landon wishes that the gorilla soldier shot him in the neck right after they landed. And I can't see a lot of kids wanting to come back for the next issue, even though they know where the story is going, because there's a lot of exposition and a lot of talking in this. Even with the movie,
Especially coming up, there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of debate
there's
over
yeah,
should we,
a lot of
shouldn't we?
politics.
Yeah.
And when I saw the movie as a kid, it's like, oh, okay, we're still on the astronauts. Mom, call me back in 45 minutes when we're on with the apes. Because I didn't like this. And seeing how this was geared toward kids, and there's not much they could do with it because it's an adaptation, but
Right.
maybe. And I like the cliffhanger too. It ends exactly where it needs to end. I'm just saying, if it were today, no, they would begin the comic with the human hunt just to get people right into it. Maybe have like a collage on the
Oh,
first splash page of the astronauts going through space, Stewart dying, landing, figuring out who these new humans are. Next page, it's the manhunt.
well, there is a online sequence. Somebody had redone the Planet of the Apes crash sequence from '68. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, I will send that to you. Maybe we can put a link to this in the down below if if we put it on YouTube or whatever. But I'll shoot this over to you because that's another thing that I think they capture better in the comic book than the movie is for obvious reasons to shoot a spaceship crash landing in 1968. They just didn't have the visual. I mean, it would have cost a lot of money to make that look decent, and they just did it with a bunch of camera tricks.
Yeah, which worked very well.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but again, this is me, the visual guy, right? I wanted to see the ship. For me as a kid, I thought the ship looked so great in the water.
Hmm.
I wanted to see a better external of the Icarus and proper reentry. It was just all done with, shaky camera stuff, which, it was definitely tense. But wait, you see that link I just sent you in Messenger. See what you think
Okay.
of that,
Yeah, we'll put that in
because
the show notes.
yeah, see what people think of that, because I thought it was pretty cool effort. Obviously, guy did this on his own. Daniel Broadway, and I think he did a good job. I think it would be, if they redid the movie that, or today, because of technology, maybe they would keep that crash landing sequence in there because you could make it kind of cool.
Now, moving forward, Kevin, I'm looking forward to going through these next 5 issues of the adaptation, and
Oh
then
yes.
go through the Primate Directive, the Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
Apes crossover with Sarah.
Oh,
Shh. And then we can get into
don't tell
Beneath the
Sarah.
Planet of the Apes adaptation, and then maybe we can go into the brand new Marvel series. Oh, there's so much, and then
I
we can
like
go
it.
through these
I think
issues
that'll be
too.
awesome. Yes.
Oh, there. Whoops.
Whoops. Richard will be right back.
There we go.
He got so excited he knocked his headphones out.
There's so much to go over now, and I'm so happy because I love doing talking apes, and
Me
I
too.
miss doing it. So the next issue, the next episode will be out sooner. than this episode was to the last episode.
Plus, we've got a whole year to plan for Talking April. Talking April. We'll figure out the name.
I love it.
We'll let you know. But we've got a whole year to plan festivities for Ape Month.
All right, well, that does it for this episode of Talking Apes. Now, like we said, the next few episodes will be out more regularly so we can focus on these classic Apes comics, which you can get in the new Planet of the Apes Adventures, the original Marvel Years Omnibus, if you want to read along. Now, we want to thank Rob Dellinger, who composed the theme to Talking Apes. Please check out Rob's band at alpharhythmkings.com.
Thank you, Rob.
And for more vintage apes news and stories, go to Simeon Scrolls at pota.goatley.com. And Goatley is GOATLEY.com. Kevin, are you ready for this next part?
Oh, yes, I'm ready. I got it. I'm getting better at this now. It took me a while, but I'm going to channel Sarah. Here we go.
Okay. I have faith in you, Kevin. Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Well, that was good. I thought you were Sarah over there.
I know. I felt it.
Where you can find other great shows like the Max Effects Podcast, the Neverland Clubhouse, Totally Tell Me Everything, Star Wars Ologies, and the flagship show, Skywalking Through Neverland. And be sure to catch the YouTube shows, Collectopolis. Kevin, do you know anything about this Collectopolis?
Oh, yes, I do. We like to talk about collectibles over there. We've got some amazing guests. If you haven't been, my Lord, please go check it out, because I just want to share all the wonderful stories and people that we've met, and definitely worth a look.
Tell us about the last episode.
Oh, the last one that just came out was going over the Star Trek the Motion Picture, the Director's Edition, and all the collectibles that were associated with that, plus a deep dive into the behind the scenes and the making of it with David C. Fine, who was the producer, who worked alongside of the original director, and he carried the torch and got this thing all the way through Paramount, and it is probably the interview of note. And there are some we definitely had a image in there that's never been seen before. There's a lot in this interview, and we didn't edit much of it out. We put everything in there because we wanted it to be the interview of note, because now finally, after all these years, Star Trek the Motion Picture is finished. When it went into theaters back in the 70s, it was incomplete. There were there were effect shots not completed. There were sounds were incomplete. Now it's done. Now it's in 4K and done. Even Paramount says so.
So until next time, this is Richard.
And this is Kevin.
Now go ape.
Go ape.